In the previous episode, we meet the other baseball playing girl in the school. Her name is Shinonome, and she has already declared that she will not be joining Tsubasa's team because she has aims to turn professional. And in order to do that, she believes that she has to join a club team with a higher level of competition than the girls can offer. So in this episode, we get a flashback to the final game that Shinonome and Tsubasa played in middle school. And from the previous episode, it seemed as if that Shinonome's team had beaten Tsubasa's team just because Shinonome looked so overwhelmingly powerful. But in reality, it was Tsubasa's team that overcame Shinonome's team despite their lack of talent. And this is because of Tsubasa's overwhelming positivity. When her team goes down, she picks them back up with a healthy spark, and it's this sort of positive attitude that gets them flowing in the right direction. And Shinonome's win at all costs attitude that uses a lot of negative reinforcement ends up hurting her team in the long run. Tsubasa ends up winning the game on apparently a walk-off grand slam, but wasn't terribly happy about it because as she framed it, this was the end of her career essentially. After all she wants to do is play. Winning and losing doesn't really factor into her enjoyment of the game like it does Shinonome. Now, as good as all this story is, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how terribly animated this scene is. None of the field proportions make any sense. The sound design is way off. All the movements look really stiff and robotic. It's probably the worst animated baseball scene I think I've ever seen. And it almost made me go back to the previous episodes and wonder, was this show actually animated as well as I thought it was? It almost made me think that the honeymoon period I experienced with the first 3 episodes is now over, but thankfully the animation picks back up with Shinonome's tryout. Tsubasa and the rest of the girls appear at Shinonome's tryout to cheer her on, despite Shinonome's insistence that she is not going to join their team. Tsubasa does this because her primary motivation is just to see girls playing baseball regardless of the circumstance. It could be for her team, it could be for a club team, it doesn't matter to her. All she wants is for everyone to get the opportunity to play. And so as the girls cheer her on, Shinonome realizes that this negative attitude that she's bringing into the game is actually impacting her performance more than it impacts everyone else's performance. And so she gives Tsubasa's theories of a positive attitude a shot, and it ends up working. Her tryout goes much better once she stops criticizing other people, and she ends up having more fun. After the tryout is over, the girls go back and hold their own practice, at which point Shinonome interrupts them and tries to teach them a few things as everyone is waiting on bated breath to see how the tryout went for Shinonome. It's at this point that Shinonome reveals that she failed the tryout. But it's okay because when one door closes, another door opens, and she decides to join the team. Earlier in the episode, we find out that the journalist decides to join the team as well, which gives them 8, and when Shinonome joins, that gives the team 9. I expect there to be more characters to be introduced because the opening shows like 12 or 13 different players, and right now we're at 9. But the 9 players we do have right now gives us enough for a game, which is essentially what the next episode is going to be, entitled The First Game or something like that. So a couple things worth mentioning. The animation in the very first baseball scene in this episode is horrendously bad. And it picks back up to an acceptable level during the tryout scene. There are even a lot of enjoyable shots, even though it wasn't the best animated scene I've ever seen. It makes me think that the production staff here has the bandwidth for probably one good baseball scene per episode, and it wouldn't surprise me to see the quality dip like this over and over again. But as long as the story remains good and it's not too distracting, I can live with a poorly animated 2 or 3 minute sequence every episode. We're also starting to round out positions. Suzuki, the 5th character that we were introduced to that has this very cerebral mind for the game, has decided to become a catcher. No one else has really carved out their positions yet, but I imagine before their first game, they're probably going to have to. I imagine Shinonome is going to play third base and Tsubasa is going to play second base based on where she played for her club team. And it's also kind of a fun guessing game for us to see like where the personality traits match the positions on the field that these girls will take. Despite some production quality dips, I'm still excited for the next episode. It's still the best baseball show of the season, though I think Mix is definitely catching up to it. And I hope that it holds its ground because, hey, it's a good half hour of entertainment.